Greetings! We're playing Fantasy Quest. What do you mean you never heard of it? Well, Fantasy Quest is a puzzle adventure game from old school Macintosh computers. It came out in 1990, but it was designed for even earlier systems which did not have color. I should mention that this game does not have music, so no background music, only sound effects. I'll be adding my own soundtrack with post-editing. So normally, I have a lot of rules and guidelines when I do an LP, and I have a pretty steadfast preference in not hanging out on the title screen for too long. But I think I need to borrow a moment for this game because it'd be a shame not to have a discussion about this game's history and my relationship to it. So this game's a puzzle adventure game built using the World Builder engine. It's probably, I think it's one of the small handful of notable commercial games using that software. What is World Builder exactly? Well, it's sort of an easy-to-use game maker or RPG maker of its day, but all the games share this same limited set of mechanics. Fantasy Quest is not strictly a point-and-click adventure game, I should point out. There's a text parser and a text description box to supplement the graphical interface. I think this is such an interesting feature. The text parser makes the game much more difficult though, which I'm sure we'll see. In fact, I can think of one spot in particular in this game. Oh boy. That's probably why parsers faded away from the game's pretty hard, right? There's also turn-based combat in this game. It's really basic though. So yeah, so these World Builder games are a pretty neat mix, I think. As for my relationship with the game, well, Fantasy Quest occupies a very interesting position in my personal gaming experience, I would say. It has an unusual staying power, even though it isn't the most significant game that I've played. Let's not get ahead of the story yet, though. So, Fantasy Quest was already dated when I became aware of it. I'm not super familiar on the dates here, because it's been 30 years, right? But I assume I played it somewhere, 90, 91, somewhere around there. I remember, though, that my parents had an old System 6 Macintosh when I first, the very first computer games that I played. We're talking non-Nintendo, non-Sega Genesis computer-ass computer games, right? Later, I would get my first computer to call my own, which was a Color Mac that could also play these old Mac games like Fantasy Quest. That's where I ended up actually playing most of these old black and white games, actually. The key thing about this story, though, is that I was only ever a Mac gamer for this one brief starting period. After that, I switched to PC, or Windows computers, you'd say, and then I never returned to Mac gaming. This has an interesting effect on nostalgia and memories. How to describe this feeling? It creates a very distinct and sheltered place, I guess I would say, for all these old games to sit inside. My memory for this game sits adjacent to basically the entire library of Mac games I've ever played in my life, including the Color Mac games and even advanced CD games on that Macintosh. And I even remember the first Super Nintendo emulators. I played that on that Color Macintosh, and that memory is sitting in the same space as this really old graphical adventure game. It's kind of fun. And zooming out a little bit, it's also fun how I associate these games, and this game in particular, with some friends that I used to play them with. Back in the day, we didn't just play console games together, we'd also play these Mac games together. And I haven't seen those friends in a long time. I just sort of associate them with this sheltered place in my history, the same way the games are all grouped together. Alright, so moving the story along to the present a bit, eventually that Mac computer I had would become obsolete, right? So I'd switch to PCs, but I'd still hook up the old Mac late into the 90s to replay some of these old games. And by then, this game had distinguished itself somehow as being oh, that's the one, I really like to return to that one. Fast forward a little bit more, now that it's the 2000s, I no longer even have that old Mac to return to, so I go even longer without playing this game. But strangely, I'm still thinking about this game from time to time, so I'm not returning to it physically, I'm just returning to it in my thoughts. So I want to describe what's about to happen using a metaphor. If the timeline of my life can be depicted as an extending landscape, right? Then this game might be a river or a small stream in that landscape. That's sort of against all odds, it's managed to carve itself a little valley carving its way through from a distant point in the past when I first played it. It's like finding ways to cut a way through the landscape, finding ways to follow me continuously into the present as my life changes. So in the mid-2000s, I've been thinking about this game every once in a while, and I'm motivated into a failed attempt at Mac emulation. There are so many problems with trying to emulate computers, it turns out. It was so horrible. And it's much harder, or it was much harder than with today's resources. In the late 2000s is when I try again, and that's the miracle emulation attempt that works. So like, in the metaphor, the stream has finally carved a path through the landscape, and it's connected itself back up to the next waterway. And I'm playing the game Fantasy Quest again. Okay. And to understand how I feel at this point, keep in mind that whereas the old me used to hook up the Mac to play my entire library, like, oh, this is great. At this point, I'm only trying to play this one game. There's only one game I want to get back to. I basically never think about, all the other rest of the library I used to have. Well, excluding stuff like, Doom 2 or Dark Forces that I technically play on the Mac, but, so in other words, like out of all the obscure games from my youth, Fantasy Quest somehow ended up as, it's like the primary survivor. It survived the journey from 1990 to the present by staying in my thoughts. Then, against like all these obstacles against it, the river reached the ocean and connected itself back up to my life. Right, so this should be where the story ends. Like, this is where Captain Ahab finally catches the white whale and it's over, right? But you see, I never beat the game back in the 90s. So in this story, I had to satisfy myself with remembering all the stuff I had solved, and then, like, okay, I could satisfy myself by redoing that and getting back to where I was, but then I had to, gracefully quit at the same sticking spot as before. I concluded that I had gotten as far as I could without sending in the shareware fee for, like, there's like a hint book or a map or something you could buy, and I think it's required to actually get to the final stretch of the game. Luckily, I have an insurance policy if I get stuck this time. You know what I'm talking about. So this is my first time revisiting the game since it's about a decade, I guess. And I want to record the playthrough where I finally beat it. Rediscovering this game is bound to be very nostalgic for me, and I want to capture that too. I'm excited. Are you excited? Let's go! Okay, I got a TV on a table. 26-inch TV. Abstract paintings decorate the walls. Other than the bed you are sitting on, there's very little else in the way of furniture. Can we go north? You can't go north. Can we go south? Can't go south. Okay, so I know you can't go anywhere in this first room, but we have a command prompt. Oh, I know what to do. Access main program. No. Access main security. No. Access main program grid. God damn it, I hate this hacker crap. You encounter a swearwolf. It rips your throat out. Game over. Okay. Of course they're going to program something if you type in a curse word. I mean, what else does the kid type in first chance they get? So, let's actually look at this screen here now that we're back here. So there's a choice between a fixed game scenario and a random game scenario. I think this is like some sort of randomizer, second quest type deal. I never messed around with that very much. My memory is actually that there's like some sort of like hidden pixel somewhere on this, somewhere on this screen, like in the O or something, that you hold down a modifier key and click somewhere to get a secret. But maybe I'm thinking of a different Mac game, I don't know. Let's just... Oh, and the info that gives a little bit of background that we'll be transported to a mystical land, poisoned, and we need to find the Tablet of Avalondor to get cured and return home. The rest is just like instructions. Okay, so let's get started properly now. Alright, so we gotta turn on the TV to get started. And we can just click the dial here. The text news channel. The news channel. News channel again. Ah, solar system. Scramble. Wait, go back to that one. Something that interests you. All is quiet then. Uh-oh! Horrible creature smashes through the TV. The creature wraps its hideous appendages around you. Sharp teeth dig into you. Uh-oh. Tense pain causes you to black out. Aha. When you wake, you'll find you're no longer at home. We're no longer in Kansas, Toto. Darkmoor Castle. Nice cliff here. Looks like Dracula's castle. Your shoulder aches and you feel like you're going to be sick. So we got description of the exits here. Ground, you see a dagger, rusty sword, and a torn map. Yes. Okay. Ah, man, this screen brings back memories, and I'm getting lots of memories are flooding back to me about the sections of the game that branch off from here. So a wide path leads to the west, east is the castle. The castle is where we're going right now. So one direction, I think the chasm, is gonna be like a rope bridge, and there's a snowy hill. Go down the hill, get some items. And I think on that section of the map, there's gonna be a village and a castle, and behind the castle is an important section with a boat. And then in the other direction, maybe this one, there's gonna be some woods. And what other places do I remember? I think near the woods, or in the woods, there's like a big old tree, and somewhere around there there's like a tomb or catacombs. So those are the locations I remember off the top of my head. Okay. So we got weapons, commands, status, inventory. Where's our status? Experience, wealth. So our weapons have uses, it looks like. Okay, so which direction was the castle? East. So we can just type. So we can type east. You also have the menus go east. You also have the shortcut keys to go east. And then I also have my own shortcut keys programmed in, so we'll just do that. The castle's courtyard to east. Okay. Can we start searching stuff? Yeah, I think so. What guy up here? These are the eyes of an angry being. Okay. Bloodstained leather strips, bleached by the relentless sun. A doorway lies to the east, to the west of the castle gate. Okay, can we search? Did our status, by the way, indicate that we are poisoned? Because I remember that this location is important for doing something about the poison. The creature that bit us. Ooh, Hall of Armor. Numerous suits of armor. There's a spider shield. It'll protect us from toxic. Stairs lead down to the room towards the east. Hallway to the north. Castle's quarter to the west. We take this stuff. Huh. So in addition to like the commands, the shortcut keys, and the parser, like git, shield. No, you can also like click stuff. So there's lots of like some of them are redundant, some of them are not redundant. Like there's sometimes you encounter something that you have to click, and there's no like typing commands and so on. So I think we want to go to this hallway. That's north. So like I was saying, the creature poisoned us, and the first part of the quest is to cure the poison, and we get like a partial cure from this wizard. Don't think this is the right room though. Another plain throne. Can we search? It's kind of funny that this game is using like the same setup as Shadowgate. You're poisoned right off the bat, and that's kind of like a driving force behind your exploratory actions. So where is this stairway? That sounded promising. East. Ah, yes. This is where we want to be. Remember this room? 'Cause just like the first screen, these memories are like flooding back to me. It's wild. Just thinking back all those years. Like, I remember like sitting in the chair and the desk. I mean, not not this chair, the chair that I was sitting in playing the game. Look at all this stuff here. Why do wizards have like all these weird things? Oh, this eye. I remember this. We can get this because this is. I think this is a puzzle solution later. So let's take that. Yeah. No, no. Why do wizards have all this like weird, like otherworldly stuff on their desks? I guess that's how you know they're a wizard. Alright, so what do we got here? Eyeball stares up on the table. So maybe that was the clue they were supposed to pick it up. A strange looking skull. Numerous books. You feel the magical in the air and the smell. An old desk. A large glass flask filled with a glowing red liquid. The trail of yellow smoke. A sweet pungent odor. Exit lies to the west. So that's where we came from. You now have the eyeball. But you're supposed to be able to meet the wizard here. Do we just... Can we take this? No? It says life on it. Get a life. Ah, there we go. Welcome, adventurer. Why, that's a nasty wound you have on your shoulder. Judging by the teeth pattern, it's even bitten by a noisy velvet. Nasty little bugger. This bite is usually fatal. Fortunately, my powers alone are not great enough to remove the poison. Or if there's hope, if you're courageous enough and still strong enough to carry on the quest. Yes. So the poison works like Shadowgate in that your turns are depleting your counter, and eventually you die. So we said the tablet of Avalandor, okay, so we heard about that in the title screen, can cure any illness. Strangely enough, this has been since been broken into 4 segments. Great. Scattered across the land. The king of Incompta has one of these segments, so it's like... I think this game is actually kind of tongue-in-cheek with a lot of its theme and its lore. Some Monty Python stuff, and you know. So it doesn't take itself too seriously, in other words. As for the other 3 pieces, who knows? Bring me the tablet of Avalandor and I will help you. Of course I'm interested. Excellent. Potion. Take this life potion. Counteract the poison for a little while. Yes, this gives a partial cure. I'm sure you're dying again on the quest. Can we save? So, even though I've played this game for like 30 years, I'm not entirely sure how this potion works. I think you just drink it now. Like, I don't think it restores HP. I think it actually restores your poison counter. Or pauses your... What? Like, I don't think our poison counter was maxed out. You might worry like that it did nothing since we didn't really use many turns yet. I don't know, like, maybe we should have slow rolled it and like waited till we were nearly dead. I don't know. Okay. We made a save, it's all good. Nothing unusual. Look around. Can you type exits? No, so yeah. There's not many like I don't know, commands. Like you can type look, but usually you cannot like look object or something. It has the same message as look. Yeah. Alright, so where are we headed? We are headed... So we got an eyeball, we drank the potion, we searched here, right? What does our inventory look like? Oh, read the map. Where did we get the map? Oh. Nuts. Okay, so how do we get out of here? West. Okay. Don't care about that tablet. There's 4 pieces. So I want to head towards the snowy area, which I think is across the rope bridge, which I think is referred to by the chasm? So the east of the castle, far below river. So I think the river refers to the forest. So let's try the chasm. Let's go north. What? Oh, the north is like the place we can't go to. Okay. So maybe the river is the rope bridge? Wait, what? I feel like there should be 3 exits to this room, but maybe not. Okay. Whatever works. The north. It's confusing that, like, as you've already sort of guessed, the picture that you're looking at is not aligned north. It's different than Shadowgate, which had this sort of like, I mean, not that Shadowgate had cardinal directions, but it was I felt like Shadowgate was arranged that it was very easy to keep your bearings. Like you weren't twisting around very much. Not like this game. Okay, so cross the deep chasm north, road fades away distance. Trail to the east and west. Okay, here we get multiple exits. Okay, I think if we went west again, we'd reach the forest. Let's go north. Is this the mountains? No. Search for some time. It's a good place to search, though. Most of the buildings are crumbling. It would be too dangerous to enter. However, the east is one building looks fairly stable. North is a cemetery. So we can keep going north, or we can go back, or we can go west, or we can go east to the building. But I want to search. No. Okay, so let's go to the stable building. Uh-oh. Okay, so this small building, like the majority of the city, has been badly damaged. There's an exit to the west. You encounter a one-eyed bandit. So let's save as. So we will probably be saving for most, if not all, battles. Which, I mean, as we'll get experience with these battles, you'll see that it's not. Let's try aiming for the head or something. What? We're dead. I remember that bandit's kind of difficult. I mean, like, difficult enough that you kind of want, like, an upgraded weapon or something. So let's aim head again. Ouch. Okay. Damn it. We'll try it one more time. Sometimes even when you do like outclass the enemy, you just sort of die randomly, so that's kind of why you want to save. There's another reason too. Ooh, very bad. He's offering a fur coat. He did that right away too. It's like a system of offering items. You can offer the enemy some item that you think is not valuable to yourself, sort of like to get out of the battle, but it seems kind of silly. Aim for the side. So you can aim for head, side, and chest. I have no idea really what. Ooh, got him. I mean, imagine the aiming system. The way it works is that enemies have like weak spots, like less armor in different spots. But okay, we got a better weapon. Coins, fur, cloak, and a club. What a find! Can we search? This feels like there should be something here, right? Like underneath those boards. Ah, yes. And a book. My memory was pretty good there, right? Read the book. Whoa. Alright, so we had worshipped the great black dragon, but today turned against us. A thief confided in me that he had stolen many of the creature's prized possessions of diamonds, rubies, and emeralds. Oh my. Curse his soul. In a rage of the dragon, besieged our great city. So that's what happened to the city. The dragon reduced it to shambles. Its vengeance was such as blah blah blah. Okay. Knights fought bravely to no avail. Grief for the loss of the city and loved ones drove them to suicide. What? So the knights fought the dragon, but so maybe they fought him off and then they committed suicide because they lost too many loved ones? That's horrible. You would think that experience would at least bring the survivors closer together. So now only I remain. It has been a long day, and it'll be a long night, for there will be many dead to bury. So we have... I think we need to wear this cloak. So maybe this wasn't... I think we'll see something about this worshipping a black dragon. Maybe not. Maybe this is a coincidence. Because this cloak is... Can you wear the cloak? Are we... magic protection fur cloak. So I think that's useful. Can we quickly... South and west. I forget which direction we came from, so just go in the random direction. Go east, we go west. Aha, fork in the road. North, west, and east. Let's save real quick. Aha, snow-capped mountains, yes. This is actually where I wanted to go first. I'm surprised I managed to, like, zero in straight on this direction. Okay, cold southerly wind sends a blast of snow into your face. Luckily, you have a large fur cloak, yes, to protect you from the elements. A thin layer of snow covers the ground. And range lies to the north. To the south is a trail. Okay, so if we did not have the cloak, like either this screen or the next screen, we'd have to turn back. It'd be too cold. I think that will wrap up the first episode, though. If you're new around here and want to follow my LPs, you can subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care, stay safe, and bye for now.